Volleyball making back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances to get the room full. Congratulations to Auburn volleyball and 7 seed, and they've had another great year and get that program turned around, headed in the right direction. Excited for them. Tonight is the beginning of the inaugural ACC-SEC Challenge. We play tomorrow night against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was playing the championship game of the tournament in Orlando and the ESPN Events Invitational. And with about 2 minutes left to go in the first half, they had 2 possessions to take a lead against Florida Atlantic. The score was 25-24 after 18 minutes of basketball. They played them really well. They wound up getting beat in probably that third game in 4-day type thing. They were fatigued. But they've got some really, really good players and they're extremely well coached. Padula and I think it's Couture, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the big kid, really, really good players and tough covers. Mike Young's been coach of the year in the ACC before. I knew this summer when we got the matchup that we were going to have our hands full just from a standpoint of a style of play and a team that's really, really dangerous team because they got a bunch of guys that can really shoot it. They have 3 guys that are shooting almost close to 40% from 3. If they're open, they can make it. So obviously we've got to do a great job of guarding the 3 ball. We've done pretty well with it so far this year, but it's going to be obviously an emphasis there. They're a tough physical team. They've got a culture of toughness and physicality. I would say that this is probably going to be the most solid defensive team that we go up against. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. And we've been a team that's kind of relied on turnovers to create offense for us. So it's an important matchup. Obviously, it's our second chance to go up against an ACC team. And I'm excited about playing in the challenge. The challenge matters. I think it's great for college basketball. And I know it's really great for the selection committee to determine how many teams from the SEC go, how many teams from the ACC go, and who the stronger conferences are. And this will be somewhat of an indicator.
Bruce, Virginia Tech, coming into the FAU game, have been shooting well from everywhere, including 3, and they get to the free throw line a ton. Just the challenges of your defense playing against a team that can kind of do it all on that end of the floor.
Yeah, it's it's going to wind up being oftentimes good defense, just better offense. In other words, Padula going to make a shot. Couture's going to make a shot. Kid, if he gets it in there, he's going to score at a high percentage. He's shooting like 75, 76% on the inside. That means if he gets close touches, he's scoring. They're hard to double because of the way they shoot it. And they'll literally put three great shooters on the floor at the same time. And and a really good post player that you gotta cover. So and they don't shoot it quick either. They're going to be patient, so there aren't going to be that many possessions. We've turned it over a little bit, too much. Can't afford any non-forced turnovers because the possessions have got to matter. They've got to matter against this team. You've got to value possessions. And you're right, they get to the foul line and they make all their free throws. Their top players are all shooting in the 90s. In free throw percentage. So again, got to defend without fouling, and got to do the best shot we can to keep them off the 3-point line. They're going to shoot them, then they're going to get them.
After the Alabama A&M game, you talked about kind of effort in the second half and wanting to see more of that, and then you have immediately all this time off right afterward.
Right.
Does that time off come at a good time, or is that maybe something that you wish you would have had more time with your team right after?
Yeah. You know what? I think it came at a great time. We've not had Thanksgiving off. I can't remember when. We're always playing in a tournament, and so we got our tournament stuff out a little early with Baylor in South Dakota, and then going to New York the week before Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna lie to you, I liked it. But I watched a lot of basketball over the weekend. But you're right. We'll see. I don't think we'll be. I hope we're not rusty. We can't afford to be rusty because they're so sharp. But we came back Saturday morning and we had 3 pretty hard days. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday were all really good hard practices. We actually got up and down a lot because I really felt like we needed to play. And then the day before the game, we'll try to take it easy, get their legs back, and then go. We get 2 this week with this one on Wednesday, and then Happy State on Sunday.
Bert, you got another one?
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about Chad. He's given y'all about at least 5 or 6 points every game, a lot of rebounds as well. Just how impressive you've been with him sliding into this team as a guy that was playing JUCO ball last year. He played D1 before, but this is a step back up into D1 play.
Yeah, Chad's got a very, very high ceiling. I mean, he has got real ability. He's got a great feel. Obviously, he's got great length. He can shoot. He can put the ball on the floor. He's a playmaker, and he's got instincts. He's got stuff you can't teach. And obviously, he's worked hard to, put on about 15 pounds. He needs to put on about 20 more. But you can tell it's really worked hard to get his body right. Trust him. And right now he and Chris Moore are playing at that same spot. And so when you got Chris in there, you've got a physical, tough, defensive-minded rebounder, and we need Chris's physicality, his toughness. And then when you put Chad Baker in there, you've got a pretty good playmaker, so and a scorer, and a really smart player. So we change when we go to the bench. We absolutely don't drop off.
Bruce, you mentioned how sharp you guys will need to be defensively against a good offensive team. I know that was maybe not a concern in the preseason, but defense was something you were definitely looking at. Through these first maybe 3 weeks of the season, what's sort of your overall assessment of the strides the defense has taken or where y'all need to go?
I mean, the numbers I think say that we have a chance to be a pretty good defensive team. Our field goal percentage defense is pretty good. Our 3-point field goal percentage defense is great. When we defend without fouling, I think we're better. I think we're flying around a little bit. Look, defensive rebounding win championships. I know I have a team that can score. Now, against Virginia Tech, we got to take care of the ball because they're just not going to let us get to spots. They're going to be physical, get through screens. They're going to be, it's not. They'll be in the right spots against our ball screen stuff, and so can't slop through things. So I know we're going to give great effort, energy guarding Virginia Tech because you have to. And we've made progress. And I think the kids have had some fun at times making it difficult for people to run their stuff. Virginia Tech runs great stuff. They'll have lots of backdoor stuff against us and lots of things that they'll try to do to counter how we like to guard. And so it'll be a really good matchup. Obviously, these are 2 teams that are picked in the upper division of their league. Virginia Tech was a team that was right on the bubble last year for making the tournament. And Mike Young and Virginia Tech are both teams that nobody really wants to play against because of how tough they are and how well coached they are and what their culture is.
Obviously, when y'all played the Big 12 every year in this challenge, obviously there were a lot of really good teams, but are you looking forward to kind of the future, this ACC matchup and just some of the teams y'all could come across because it's tradition of that conference in basketball specifically?
Yeah, I think of all the challenges, this is the one that makes the most sense because it's, regionally, I think it's, there's some great rivalries in football. There are some great natural rivalries between different states. Florida's got a great SEC, ACC rivalry. South Carolina's got a great rivalry. North Carolina, there's some we don't have, but I'm saying there's some real rivalries in our region. So I think it's great for our league and for the game and coming at a time of the year when we're it's getting close to bowl season and getting close to a time when college football playoffs are getting closer. All the championship games are this weekend, and yet you do something like this week, it brings a little bit more attention to basketball.
Last question,
just following up on that, just with the SEC expanding so much, it's become like just a deeper and more talented basketball conference going up against the ACC that has so many historic basketball programs in it. What does that say about how far this league is coming? And obviously there's a lot more, you know, games to play in this challenge the years to come, but just how much can the SEC continue to grow against historic teams like that?
Yeah, I think that I'm sure that Mike Slide and Commissioner Sankey looked at SEC basketball a decade or so ago and recognized that at least on the men's side, we weren't where they wanted us to be. We had Kentucky, we had Billy Donovan at Florida, we had some moments at Tennessee and some other places, Arkansas. Everybody's had their moments, but overall as a league, the ACC would have been clearly ahead of our conference, and now we're obviously very competitive with any conference in the country, and but you know, yeah, we obviously need to try to keep that going. But these matchups, you know, they matter to me. I want to represent our league well. You know, we still own the best non-conference record in the SEC over the last 7 years. And like I said, you know, what would I like to be able to say in January when we're done with our non-conference slate is that through 7 seasons, and we're into our 7th season, keeping track of that. So this game obviously matters historically as well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.